Hello traders, and welcome to a new tool that I have found to be very predictive of where price is going to go. Now, the reason I say that is this tool here, Exocharts.com, what it shows us is the order size and how much volume is coming from every single kind of trader. So for the traders under 20K, I can see if they're mostly selling or buying. You can see, sadly, for these guys, they were mostly selling. Consolidation, boom, price goes up. Now I can see from the big guys and the mid-tier, mid-sized guys, what are they predominantly doing? So for the traders over $1 million, and for the traders around $400,000 to $1 million, they were mostly buying before price went up. Retail was mostly selling before price went up. So it's this kind of tool that we can use to segregate volume from the smallest guys and the biggest guys so that we know where price is likely to go. All right, let's get into it, guys. So as I said here, if we zoom in on this consolidation here, my God, that zoom is so annoying, but whatever. What we see is for the traders who were trading under $20,000, what were they mostly doing during this consolidation? Well, they've been mostly selling. Now, the numbers that you see on the left are the dollar amount or contract amount that you see selling. The numbers on the right are the contract amount that you see buying. You can see that mostly throughout this entire range, we see a lot of selling. More selling here, more selling here, more selling here, more selling here. Now, the interesting thing is, what are the big guys doing? The traders with over $1 million, look here, 27 million bought from the very biggest, only 8.8 million sold. Very big imbalance here. What are they doing here? Most of these big whales are buying 8.6 million versus 7.4, 4.6 versus 3.2. And the pattern just continues except for this candle here. You can see it was mostly selling here, but mostly buying here. But even in this candle, you can see that retail was selling as well. So really, I found this to be a pretty contrarian indicator when it comes to the smaller size. Whenever I see the 20K guys or the 20 to 50K guys mostly selling, that's a pretty bullish sign for me because I'm going to be trading against these Bitmex traders of the smallest sizes. And I typically like to trade with the traders with the bigger sizes. And I mean, you can totally see that here. This is kind of sad what happened, but I will show you guys. $8.5 million worth of buying on this 4-hour candlestick. On this 4-hour candlestick here, we're selling consolidation and really not much selling. You can see an imbalance of these bigger guys. They're mostly buying. Once we get to the 20Kers, they're mostly selling. Look at this. 21 mil sold, 18 million bought. They're predominantly selling. The bigger guys are predominantly buying. Boom, price goes up. What do we see on the daily? Well, we can go on the daily here, and if I zoom in on this guy here, you can even see it right here, guys. Like, look, the 20K have been highlighted that they've been predominantly selling. And you can see the mid-tier guys are predominantly buying. Now, if I zoom in here and we actually look, it's really a dead tie, except more buying from the mid order size guys. It's a dead tie from these guys too. So basically, it's a dead tie from the guys with, guys and girls and robots with medium order sizes and with larger order sizes, but it's just predominantly selling from these smaller guys. Now, if you want to say, hey, this is really cool and all, but I want to see exactly where they're doing this, click candles. I'm going to click Delta Profile. And then I can see, actually, I'd rather get, can we get Volume Profile? Oh, okay, I'm just playing around with these. Delta Cluster? Ugh, no, I don't like that. Bid-Ask Profile? Oh, much better. There we go. So we can see, this is exactly what I wanted to see too. We can see exactly where the majority of these guys were selling was here. So a lot of these sellers here were probably selling around here, as you can see, and you can see exactly where that is. But let's go back to candles. So this is a pretty good sign that retail is bearish. Yeah. Now, what I also want to look at is what happened on the daily as price makes these tops and bottoms, because there is a pattern, and it does involve sizes of, what are the larger guys doing, what are the smaller guys doing. So we can look at this market top here. You can even see it here. I don't even need to zoom in. Mostly selling. I mean, if we get to consolidation from, here to here, mostly selling. Mostly buying here, but price does go up a bit. Then mostly selling from these bigger guys, right? Complete deadlock here. Mostly selling from the big guys here, and then mostly buying, price goes up. And then you can see here is interesting, mostly selling, and then dead tie from the 20Kers, the under 20K, as you can see here. I have a cold. That's why I'm a bit, sniffly right now, or allergies, or whatever it is. Yeah. And I also want to look at what happened right before price went quite bearish. And I apologize for the zoom. I know it's like going in and out, and it can be kind of like hurting your brain. I acknowledge that. It's just the scale on this is really weird. That's why I keep zooming in and out. So apologies for that. I can actually see here. Wow, that is quite the big imbalance there. Look how much more selling was being done by these big and mid-sized guys. But then if you look down here, it's around a tie. I know these guys are mostly selling though as well, but you can just see there's a clear, very, very large imbalance of a lot of selling. Here it's a little bit different. From the guys 400K to 1 mil, mostly selling. Here, 1 million mostly buying. So really, you can see conflicting patterns with this, but whenever you see conflicting patterns, you could always just go on a different time frame. Like if I go on the weekly, if we want to get really crazy, I can say, hey, what happened right before this big drop? I want to see what was the 1 week of trading before the big drop of another 1 week of trading. Look at this. Wow. Actually, the pattern I see is crazy. I'm about to show you guys. Predominantly selling here. I think there's no argument what these bigger guys are doing, from $200,000 to $1 million plus. Yeah, they're mostly selling. I mean, right? But look at this. Of the guys who are trading under 20K, they're mostly buying. There's $28 million more bought than sold of the 20Kers. And it's a dead tie of the 20K to 50K. And then once you get to these bigger sizes of $100,000 and plus, you can see they're mostly selling. So this is going to be able to tell us what are these smaller sizes doing versus what are these bigger sizes doing. And if you had noticed this and said, "Hey, the bigger guys are selling, the smaller guys are buying," that's a pretty bearish sign for me. And then when the drop actually happened, you can see retail was still mostly buying. During the drop, they were mostly buying. $1.7 billion bought versus $1.6 billion sold. They're mostly buying still, as you can see here. But you can see just how much more selling these bigger guys are doing. 1.8 versus 1.3, as you can see here, and then deadlock between these two. And I can look at more weekly patterns of this as well. One pattern that I love here is this was bullish, and then price dropped. So price was making a high up here. Everything seemed bullish on this candle. What was retail doing? They are mostly buying. Well, how much? 1.2 bill versus 1.1 billion. You guys see that there? Now, what are the whales mostly doing? They're mostly selling. 1.2 versus 1.1, 1.2. Actually, no, it's more of a deadlock. I disagree. But this needs to be put in context, guys, because you need to look at the candlestick itself. Here's what I'm saying. If you see a very bullish candlestick, so something like this where there was bullish action, we're going to expect to see the larger traders are buying, of course, because the price went up. But when you see more of a tie between the larger traders, that's not a good sign for the bullish trend, right? Especially when you see something like this. Like, would you really think that this kind of pattern would be happening here on this weekly if we were going to get a follow-up bullish candle? Probably not. There's just not a significant amount of buying interest from the larger guys. I mean, I don't see it here. I clearly don't. The imbalance that I see that's more dominant here is, I mean, I can totally see this is a tie. 1,000 million is the same as 1 billion. More buying, more buying here before price drops. Then this is interesting. Look what happened right before massive, just crazy volatility. You can see how people position themselves. And you can also do this, it gets a little bit more complex, but you can also do this on something like the 1 hour. This is where things get a little bit tougher. But look at this. Right before the massive jump, what are the bigger guys doing? They're mostly buying. What are the smaller guys doing? We already talked about this, but they're predominantly selling, as you can see there. But I do like the daily the best for this. If I was to say one thing to use for this kind of strategy for segregating, between the smaller traders and the bigger traders, I'd say daily is probably your best bet, as you can see. Really, this gives you a great ability to trade against retail and to trade with whales, to trade with very, very large traders. Trade in the direction of very, very large traders, that is. I'm just looking at some patterns here. Like this market top, the highest the price got, in this consolidation range, mostly selling from these mid-tier bigger traders, right? 217 million sold versus 105. And look what happened to the lowest here. So sad. Not sad, it's just part of the market. But as the market made a top, there was still just as much buying as there was selling from the smallest guys. So really trading against the 20K and then trading with the 1 million, as long as they're doing the opposite thing, can be a potential strategy. Now, I haven't done this before, guys, but I'm going to do it with you guys. Let's go to the 5-minute and just see what's going on, on the very, very short-term time frame. And what does this tell us? Well, let's look at this consolidation range here. Let me zoom in. Please don't go crazy when I zoom in. Actually, let's go 15 minutes. Sorry to constantly do this, but let's go 15 minute because the 5 minutes not enough. Okay, so 15 minute. What are the smaller guys predominantly doing? Tie here, really. Tie here. Tie here. I'm not really seeing anything significant. I mean, looks like just about a tie. But what are the big guys doing? It's not a tie. From the big guys, they're predominantly buying, right? Top 3 tiers, predominantly buying. Let's look here. They were predominantly selling here in mass, but it's more of a tie here. This is a little bit more unclear. Okay, that's not unclear at all. Look at that candlestick here. Look at this 15-minute candlestick. 16 million bought, 1.4 million sold from anyone trading over $1 million. Clear imbalance here. This is a sign. This was a very bullish sign. Very bullish sign right before price rose. And look at this from the lower tier. Predominantly selling. Again, we see the same pattern that we saw on the daily, on the 4-hour, on this very small time frame. And price is going up now to burn all these guys who are trading, who are predominantly selling. 5 million versus 4.3, predominantly selling. 3.5 versus 3.1, predominantly selling from anyone trading under 50,000. And predominant buying, 7.8 million versus 3.1, 16 mil versus 1.4, 11 versus 7.3, 5.1 versus 3.9. So this is a clear pattern right here, just that candlestick itself, where we got actually more selling from the smaller guys and more buying from the bigger guys, and this would have been a pretty good signal to buy. Now, if we look here, even on this doji candle, where price didn't really go anywhere in 15 minutes, what are the big guys predominantly doing? They're mostly buying. What are the second tier mostly doing? They're mostly buying. What's the third tier mostly doing? They're mostly selling. But the top 2 tiers are mostly buying. What is the bottom tier doing? It's completely deadlocked, as you can see there. How about this candle right now? Predominantly buying. Mostly buying, tie, and then it looks like just everyone buying. Oh my God, retail is buying like crazy. Okay, this is interesting. This is a really strange pattern because I'm actually seeing retail, mid-sized, and large-sized, everyone's buying. On this candlestick here. The bigger guys are buying. The smaller guys are buying. The mid-tier guys are buying. So this is just like all buying, and I don't know what to make of that. What do you guys make of that when every single retail traders, large retail traders, whales, institutions, everyone's buying on this candlestick? I think what I'd have to see is something like a 5-minute here. I want to see more recently, what are people actually doing? I want to see a little bit more data. Okay, this zoom is killing me. It's actually giving me a seizure. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing kind of the same thing. And even in this 5-minute candlestick here, I can see 2 million bought. This 5-minute candlestick's the most interesting because the most action occurred. And I can see that it's predominantly buying. I mean, right? 8.1 versus 6.4, 8.5 versus 8.7 for these guys. For the larger ones, clear imbalance here of 6 mil versus 2 mil for the guys trading over $1 million. And there's also an imbalance here from the retail. So this is really interesting. I don't know what to tell you guys with this kind of pattern where everyone's doing one thing, including the big guys and including the small guys. We'll see. Tie, mostly selling. Whoa, what is this? Do you see this right here? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. 50 to 100K, it's mostly selling. I mean, wait, it's tied now. I meant to say 20 to 50K, it's mostly selling. 1.6 mil versus 1.1 from these smaller guys. 20K, it's a dead tie. The bigger guys are mostly buying. Yeah, the bigger guys are mostly buying. So bigger guys are mostly buying. Smaller guys are mostly selling. Yeah, smaller guys are mostly selling. I'm going to say price goes up a little bit. Yeah, and price is going up. Just like that. So this is a really cool tool that you can use on any time frame that you want. Just make sure to segregate between what are the smaller traders doing, what are the bigger traders doing, and you can zoom out and like really see, just from a bird's eye view, what people... Okay, stop with the zoom is so annoying. My God. You can see just basically what are these mid-tier and larger traders doing. And then you can also see what are the smaller traders doing as well. And if you want to get very in-depth data, that's when you zoom in like this. Okay, come on, zoom. My God, the zoom is killing me. God. Oh, my God. They're just all buying. Look at that. Top 2 tiers, mostly buying. Bottom 2 tiers... Oh, the bottom 2 tiers just flipped. They're mostly selling now. Okay, to end this video, how about the 1 minute? Look at that. Okay, this data is going to be a little bit tougher. But can we even correlate this on the 1 minute instead of the 1 day? I mean, before price jumps, you can see predominantly buying. Yeah, okay. But how about on these 1 minute? Yeah, I think 1 minute's a little tricky. I actually would not recommend 1 minute. I would just say with the 15 minute and 5 minute, if you're going to go really short term, I think 15 minutes pretty good. Like if I go into 15 minute here, I can see, yeah, imbalance of the buyers. Every single one of these is more buying. Jeez. On this 15-minute candlestick, everyone's buying. Again, still. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit more bullish action. Potentially either stop loss hunt and price goes down, or just continued bullish action. I think both of those are feasible. This site's really cool. I really like it. If you don't check it out. If you do, check it out. Live your life. Peace. Happy trading.